The incident I'm about to tell you about happened in the year 2017. I was 7 months pregnant with my daughter at the time. I was living with my aunt, who was the only person that helped me in my hour of need. She supported me and my baby throughout. Honestly, she was the mother I never had due to the prime stage of my pregnancy. She hardly ever let me do anything. But one day, she came down with a fever out of no other option. I had to drive to the store to pick up some snacks for my cravings. I hate being the damsel in distress, so I assured her I would be just fine. She told me to be careful, lying on her bed, and I smiled at her, locking the door behind me. I got into her car and drove down to the Dollar Tree outlet, about 3 blocks away from our place. Upon reaching the store, I pulled up a shopping cart from the corner and started walking. I was passing aisle after aisle, carelessly looking for some munchies, when I noticed the chips on the top shelf. No matter how much I tried, I wasn't able to reach them. The added body weight made it difficult for me. Just then, a voice spoke from behind. "Let me help you." Turning around, I saw an old lady standing behind me. She had a caring smile. I smiled back and moved so she could grab the chips for me once she handed them to me. I smiled again and said, "Thank you." She caressed my cheek and then looked around with confused eyes. "Where is your husband?" "Dear, I don't have one." "Oh, then the father of the child? He's not in the picture." I see, knowing that I was here by myself. Her eyebrows frowned. She again looked around and then said in a worried voice, "You shouldn't roam around alone in this condition. No, my aunt takes care of me, but she fell ill. That's why I had to come here today." "Okay, so how long have you been living with your aunt?" "For a couple of months now." "And what about your parents?" "By this time." I started to feel a little awkward with her questions. I tried to walk past her, but she tagged along, like my shadow, every aisle I went to. She went with me while asking various questions. I told her about my parents, and generally everything she asked. Now I realize what a huge mistake that was. But at the moment, I thought she was just concerned about me. She went on with her advice and suggestions about how to care for the baby. And me. One thing that unsettled me about her was the way she talked. She barely blinked. Her eyes were always moving around, watching every move in the Dollar Tree outlet. There weren't many people in the store. I grabbed some juice, bee boxes, when the woman leaned towards me in a creepy way and said, "For your cravings, huh? If I was your aunt, I would have taken way better care of you. She already takes good care of me." "Well, you are here alone, and this condition proves otherwise." I began to feel pissed off as the old lady kept shaming my aunt for not being a good guardian. I tried to shake her off, but she wasn't taking my hint at all, so I ignored her and started to walk the other way. The old lady followed me again, but this time things started to get creepy. "Why don't you come with me?" She asked this out of the blue, and kept smiling at me like it was perfectly casual to say to someone that you just met in a department store, "Excuse me. I could take good care of you and your baby. I have this big farmhouse located on the outskirts. Trust me, you and your baby will have the best life I have." To go home now. Saying this, I turned to walk away, but the old lady grabbed my cart and stopped me. She smiled big and said, "Okay, let's drive to your place first so you can take all your stuff. I will take you to my place." I couldn't keep calm anymore. I pulled her hand away from my cart, which came as a shock to the woman, but she moved back a bit. "I am not interested in living with you. I have my aunt to take care of me now. Please leave me alone." Her face turned all serious. Hearing my angry voice, she looked down for a while, and then again looked at me in the eyes. A creepy grin appeared on her face, and she spoke in a spine-chilling voice. "But what if something happens to you? Your aunt is not with you now. Life is very uncertain." "You know what? What do you mean you're a freak? Stay the hell away from me or I'll report you to the cops." Saying this, I didn't wait a single second near her while walking away. I looked back to see if she was following me, but this time she was gone. My eyes searched for her the entire time I was inside the Dollar Tree, but I didn't see her. After checking out, one Dollar Tree employee helped me to carry the bag up to my car, wishing me a good day. The employee went back in, and I found myself standing in the empty parking lot. All I wanted was to drive home ASAP, but my panic-stricken mind suddenly gave birth to the urge of peeing. Being pregnant and driving while holding your pee was next to impossible for me at that moment. So I had no other choice than to finish my business. The public restrooms of Dollar Tree are located at the end of the store, and I didn't want to go in just to meet that creepy old lady one more time, so I decided to use the small washroom in the parking lot. I locked my car and walked to the left corner of the parking lot. It was a small restroom with 3 toilets. No one was in there when I got in. I entered the first toilet and was doing my business, when I heard the washroom door creak open, followed by slow footsteps. At first I didn't react to it because literally anyone uses these washrooms. But then suddenly the footsteps stopped being alert and scared. At the same time I tried to listen to every sound taking place, but it was just pin-drop silence. I kept staring at the door, being covered in sweat, when I heard heavy breathing above me. The blood in my veins froze as I slowly lifted my eyes following the breathing sound. As my eyes noticed the partition wall of the toilet right next to mine, my stomach dropped. It was the same old lady from the Dollar Tree. She was standing on the toilet seat to take a peek at me. I will never forget that moment in my entire life. Her wide, scary eyes watched me silently. She didn't say a single word, just stared at me with an expressionless face. I wanted to scream, but I lost my voice. She then spoke. "You need to come with me. I'll take good care of you and your baby. Please, just leave us alone. Do you want money? I can give you some money. Keep your freaking money. I want your baby," saying this. She stretched her hands, trying to grab me. I got up, screaming for my life. I opened the bathroom door and came out in panic. The old lady got down from the toilet seat and chased me out of the washroom. It was the most difficult run of my life. I rushed to my car while the lady laughed like a maniac behind me. I kept screaming, "Come here, I want your baby. I would take good care of you too. Come to me." I somehow got into the car and closed the door before she could reach me. Her hand came in between, but I slammed the door hard. I could hear bones cracking, followed by a painful scream as my car door broke her wrist. But I didn't care anymore. I drove away at full speed while the lady kept yelling, "This is not the end." Just remember that I broke into tears after reaching home. My aunt immediately called the cops and warned them about this lady and everything that happened to me there at the Dollar Tree. The cops never found the woman. But a week after this incident, I read a missing persons report in the newspaper. It was about a PR woman in her late 20s. She went shopping in the same Dollar Tree outlet one afternoon, and since then, no one had seen her to date. No one knows what happened to her or her baby. I strongly believe that the creepy old woman had something to do with that. Music disappearance. The incident I'm about to share happened when I was about 13 years old. My parents were going through a divorce at that time, so the atmosphere at home wasn't very ideal. We lived in a small neighborhood where I could barely make any friends to pass my time. I used to sketch a lot, saving my pocket money from side jobs. I would buy various art and craft items to channel the amateur artist. In me, Dollar Tree was my go-to place to buy everything as things. They were pretty cheap and affordable. The Dollar Tree store was 3 blocks away, right next to the gas station on the highway. I would ride my bike there 2 to 3 times a week. It was a big store with a huge collection of all kinds of household materials. And even more than that, one time I went to the store around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I preferred this hour, as very few customers used to be there. Then, parking my bike at the corner, I entered the store. Long aisles packed with tall shelves filled with all kinds of goods. Stood in front of me, the cashier was dozing off, sitting behind his desk. I figured out that there were probably 2 to 3 people in there, excluding me. I started checking out the store. The art and craft section had a sale. I picked up a new set of charcoal pencils and some acrylic paint to decorate a flower pot. I was so into shopping that I didn't realize someone was standing behind me. I suddenly heard a hiccup, and being startled, turned around to see a man dressed as Jack Sparrow from the famous Johnny Depp movie standing behind me. It was a closed space, so there was barely a gap between us. Feeling discomfort, I moved away from him a little and said, Sorry, I didn't see you there. Ah, but I saw you, he replied. At first I thought he was just being in character, but with the way his hiccups appeared, I realized this dude was drunk as a skunk. His pupils were dilated, and I could smell the whiskey on his clothes. Why are you dressed like that? I asked. Just like one. Like Jack Sparrow, he replied. His mouth opened wide in shock, as if I had said something unexpected. He just stared at me, eyes wide, mouth open. Overall, very creepy. Then he said in a greasy voice, "But I thought I am Jack Sparrow." "What?" I responded, laughing a bit. "Oh, you are laughing, so you don't believe me. Huh?" Suddenly, his face changed, his eyebrows frowned, and I could tell he felt insulted by my sarcastic laugh, not knowing how to answer a stupid question from a drunk. I stood there with an awkward face. "Answer your captain, you a life?" he demanded. "You are the shittiest Jack Sparrow I've ever seen in my whole life," I said, turning around to leave him be. Luckily, the man didn't follow me. After a while, I walked to the cashier to pay. I gave a quick scan of the store and realized the man wasn't there anymore, feeling relieved. I came out of the store, and that's when my nightmare began. I remember very well where I had parked my bike, and to my surprise, it wasn't there. My stomach dropped as I heard a burst of spine-chilling laughter, followed by the ring of a bicycle bell. It came from the dark parking lot at some distance. There was no one around to whom I could ask for help, but I was adamant too. I wasn't going home without my bike. With trembling steps, I walked into the parking lot. There were a few cars, and the light in the parking lot was blinking like crazy. It took some time for my eyes to adjust to that creepy ambiance, but what I saw made my skin crawl the creepy. Jack Sparrow was sitting on my bike, parked right at the end of the parking lot. I couldn't make out his face, but I am sure he was smiling creepily when he noticed me going there. He suddenly screamed, "You need to find yourself a girl mate." Saying this, he pedaled faster, almost like a fired bullet coming straight at me. Having enough. At that point, I screamed and started to run for my life. I heard the man laugh like a maniac. He was chasing me on my bike, and I don't even know why. All I know is that if he caught me, he surely wouldn't let me go unharmed. "I'm going to catch you. I'm going to catch you," he shouted, leaving the parking lot behind. I began running down the highway. Just my luck. No car was seen there, almost in a panic. I ran in the opposite direction instead of going into the Dollar Tree. The man was now riding my bike on the highway and laughing even more loudly. He was having fun scaring the bomb team out of me. The scorching heat was draining me. I was getting tired, hence slow. I could hear the psycho Sparrow pedaling faster. It felt like I would never be able to outrun him. I was almost on the verge of collapsing in the middle of the road when I saw a big truck coming my way. Seeing it, the urge to live again blossomed in my heart. I started to move my hands up and down in the air while screaming at the truck stop. "Please, stop! I need help! Stop!" The truck driver noticed me and honked the horn. I turned back and saw the man had stopped pedaling. He looked at me, then at the truck, and then back to me again, realizing the truck would stop for me, and I had nothing to be scared of. Now his angry eyes burned in hatred. The evil joy from his face disappeared, and he slowly got up from my bike. He then kicked it to make it fall on the concrete road, my bicycle. Bell broke, and he ran into the woods when the truck driver picked me up. Along with my cycle, I was completely exhausted, drenched in my own sweat, breathing heavily as I gasped for air. "Please, just take me home," I pleaded, except for directing the way to my house. I didn't speak a single word to the truck driver when he dropped me home. I thanked him for his help and went straight into my room. I didn't go out for almost a week. Every time I heard a bicycle bell, I got goosebumps. The reason I never shared this experience is that no one would ever take it as a threat. Everyone would assume that the crazy guy dressed as Jack Sparrow was only joking with me. Not a single night goes by without me having a nightmare about that psycho man riding my bike while chasing me in a Jack Sparrow costume. I used to work at Dollar Tree, a popular dollar store, for about 6 months. Several years ago, I worked as a cashier, and after being there for only a few months, I would occasionally work by myself. We were always trying to hire more people, but luckily, every time I was the only one working, it was never that bad. I worked mostly night shifts, usually until close. We closed at 10 p.m., and the store was in a quiet area. One quiet night, I was working by myself. It was slightly rainy outside, and it would sprinkle on and off. I noticed this because the front of the store where the check lanes were had windows looking out into the parking lot after 8 o'clock p.m. That night, we hardly got any customers. The rain must have kept people in. I kept myself busy by doing small tasks, organizing things, and going on my phone. The last hour always dragged out, but it was also nice to know that I would be going home soon on this night, after 9 o'clock p.m. We didn't have a single customer, which was fine with me. I always felt a little nervous being the lone